Hey guys, Jake. Today we're going to talk about pedals. So I'm using the Line 6 Helix. In the Helix, I've got an AC15 in the left, or an AC30, and in the right, I've got like a 100-watt Fender type amp. And this is my clean tone. So I have a few different overdrive options here. I've got kind of a Klon model here that I use as kind of my first stage, if you will. I'll demonstrate what that sounds like. And then I've also got a Prince of Tone model as well. And then just a tiny little boost after those two. So how I use those three is I kind of think through what section of the song I'm in and how much overdrive I need. When you're setting your overdrive levels, you don't want to go like full send into complete distortion from clean. That wouldn't be a great transition. It would be a pretty stark contrast. I think there's moments that would be helpful and that could be really cool. But for the most part, you kind of want to think in stages. Like if you're going from a clean sound into a lead line, like into the turn section, just a little push into that would do just fine. So I have the Klon here as that first stage, and then the Prince of Tone as that second. Also, I'm utilizing the EQ of those two colors, those two overdrive sounds. The Klon is set a little bit brighter because I'm going to be more so in the middle of the neck. And then Prince of Tone is set just a little bit darker because it's going to compensate for how much brighter past like the middle of the neck will be. So it's going to kind of compensate and it won't be so harsh to hear. As I think through how these are set, how these overdrive levels are set, I'm also thinking through how they're going to work with my delays and reverbs. In worship music, we're going to use a lot of delay and reverb. So before I kind of work through the correlation of those two or those three effects, I'm just going to run you through my delay sounds. So I have a dotted eighth, pretty bright digital delay sound. And then I also have a Deluxe Memory Man, just a standard 8th sound. So if you notice, there's quite a difference between those two. And the reason that is because I stack my delays. So I'm just going to stab this, and you can hear kind of how those two work together. You can hear that ping pong sound going back and forth. And I use quite a bit of modulation with those two delays because those repeats are going to be really pronounced and obvious for the first 3 or 4 repeats and then wash out into almost a reverb sound towards the end. And that's very intentional because my goal with delay and reverb is to never lose what's happening here. I want my notes to be very pronounced. I don't want them to get lost in the mix. And I want my delay and reverb to work with how I'm playing instead of against it. And then here's my reverb sound. This is kind of like an RV5 type sound. It's set a little bit darker and the mix is not too high. But reverb is something that we can very easily overuse because it sounds really pretty and it fits everywhere and it kind of glues our sounds and tones together. This is a pretty acceptable always on reverb. There's a pretty good decay and the mix is not too loud. If this was your always on reverb sound at this mix setting, this would not be an appropriate sound. Because as you build on that sound, everything is going to get lost and really too swimmy. There are certainly moments where you can use more reverb, but as a basic always on reverb, something with a lower mix, I have mine set to about 33% as an always on, and my decay is set pretty long. So with my two delay sounds, here's what my delay and reverb sounds like. So I'm getting that space and that dimension that I really love, that I think fits really well with like lead playing. But I'm not getting in the way, and this is not getting lost. So now let's put it all together. I'm going to turn the clon setting on, and let's just see what this sounds like. And for a lead sound, that would be super appropriate. But now let's take a step back and think through like a rhythm guitar sound. So if I were playing rhythm, I would leave my eighth note delay on, and I would leave my reverb on, and I wouldn't go for like my Prince of Tone. I would think more of just my boost, and then if I needed even more, I would use the clon. So thinking through a lead, rhythm sound, here's what that would sound like. And I think that would work really well. But let's turn the reverb off and hear what this sounds like. And actually that works a whole lot better. The chords are very clear and punchy the way that a rhythm guitar is supposed to sound. And it fits really well with what the lead player would be doing. So that's it. Thanks for watching.